Hi shed fans, welcome back, thanks for watching. This video I'm going to turn a magnetic racing twin head light unit into them both facing the same way. I've been threatening to this video for a while and now I'm just getting around to doing it. I've got an event coming up in a week or so. So I just need to get this done. I've got 3 to build, so I'll just video this one, and then I'll crack on and do others. Just try and clear my bench off a little bit. My work table, my workspace, which is a bit of a mess. But so how I build a magnetic racing light stand. I paint all my bits up first in sprues. Paint all them up first, and then I just alter them a little bit. I alter the top parts. Yeah, I paint all my parts up in my sprues with a grey primer. So when you paint it on your top coat, it's not gonna your top coat's not gonna soak in and wet it all. And that's probably with MDF. When you use MDF, it soaks paint. It soaks paint up. So if you don't use a primer as a base coat, it soaks in and soaks in and soaks in. So I'll just show you me. That's a finished. This one is a finished product. So that's like a twin head on both sides, one on each side. And then this is the same thing, but I've made them go onto one side. So I've got that one there. Now I've got this one here. So we're going to make that twin head one facing opposite ways into both things face the same way. So as you can see on those ones, we've got to cut these. So these are all your sprues with all your parts on. And if you're not an experienced modeller, bit builder, and you've kit builder, and you come into this video from fresh, you can actually use magnetic racing. Do have a hang on a second. Magnetic racing do have a kit. When you buy your yeah, so magnetic racing, they do an online instructions, so it saves on paper and ring them all, pinch them all out and everything. So you just put them in one place. Just put all the instructions in one place for all the kits. So you buy the kit and then it gives you a code on inside your kit, so you can get your instructions out. So what I'm gonna, so that's that. But I've built loads of these now, so I don't really need to get the instructions. So as you can see with this is where your twin light heads fit. One fits on here and one fits on there. But we don't want that. We want one head on one side and one head on other. So the other thing I do when I build a magnetic racing thing as well is all this wiring here. I don't really like all this wiring. I think it's a bit too much really. Because I've got my own layout. That's a bit too much. Because it's a scale model, full scale-ish model, I suppose. These light heads, you've got all this great big thick wire here, running down middle of your framework. Well, if you had that, you don't see that on the real thing. That's kind of not really what you see on the real thing. So I cut that lot off. I get rid of this wiring loom here. I cut it off there and solder my own wires on. So you don't actually see. I know it doesn't look that good on the light. The light looks good where it is. My lights look good where how they are. I'll just zoom in again for you on the lights. So if you have a look at this light here, you can't see no wiring running down. There's no big wiring loom dropping through light fitting. And same on that gantry. That's the magnetic racing gantry, the Firestone one, and it's lit up like Boone did his on Boone Slot Car Garage. And same with that ST&E stand there. You can't see no wires. Then when you come under baseboard, he's got two wires there, look, red and black wire running through baseboard, and same there, red and black wire coming through baseboard. And I've got them connected up with these JST connectors here. When they're connected in. So what I do is, well, I'll show you what I'll get cracked on with this build, and you can see what I do rather than me banging on about it. And same as that. Same as this this forehead, the forehead light stand round that goes round corner. You can see it just there, what I do. But there's no great big wiring loom. That's got four heads and it's going, and there's no wires going down. So I'll show you. I'll just put you back on this stand. Right, so what I do is this brass box section here, I glue it on inside of my light fitting, and I use the brass as a conductor, and I solder my negative wire to outside of that, and then I use I've got there's a JST connector for underneath, connecting with buzz cables for the underside, and I've got a male end and then I've got a male end here. So what I do is I solder that onto that at bottom. If I solder that to that at the bottom, we can start doing that actually. These little bench vices are brilliant. Really good piece of kit. They really help you. So I've got a 40-watt soldering iron that I'm going to plug in. So the other thing with magnetic racing is you get a square battery fitting just here. That's in WIT kit as well. Like I say, I don't use that because you've got magnetic racing catered for everybody. We've catered for carpet racer, layout racer, everybody. So they're really good at what they do. So really, I've just like adapted these kits to my needs, which is really good. It's good that you can do that. So what I'm doing now, I'm just going to cut these parts out. So we want that one. We want this head, that head part. It's just like a really fine little piece of MDF that's not quite gone through with laser, that holds parts in position. So all we have to do is get a sharp scalpel and just cut through it. If you're a little nipper, get your mum or your dad to do it for you, or your guardian, parent or guardian, I should be saying really. And they give you a spare ladder as well, which is good. You can use that on other kits, other stuff of scratch builds you're going to do. So that's that sprue finished. So we've got the MR racing bit. That's the base. That's that's like a base, and you just glue that to that. Line your holes up there and there, and then they leave you like a little cut line where you line your squares up with. So you've got a cut line there. You can just see that fake line all the way around outside. Now I've kind of painted that, but you don't really need to paint it. And then I've only painted one side of that because that's the only side you see, this top side here. So just want let's get some super glue, some good super glue. Just want a bit outside. You don't have to use a lot. So I just want to put us line a square up. And just push it together. Just keep a bit of weight on it for it to go off. Wait for glue to go off. Super glue is pretty instantaneous, which is good. So this is your door side. This is your door here, or your gate, or whatever you want to call it, I suppose. And you can glue that like that. what I'm going to do is I'm going to not glue that yet. I'm going to wait till I've built it all up, then glue it. I just want to cut these bits out here. You've got to be careful with them really. Don't push on it too hard. Make sure you cut all the way through the little tags. You can see there, look. On that little, that's where it's left in. So you can just scrape that past, scrape your blade past, and then just make sure that's free. So now that's your base made up. So we've got, this is one side, just test fit it, and that's that one test fitted and in position. You've got another base piece, and then you've got this is your back side here, back side of that. See what I've done with these? Right, so on the other base, on the other lights, I've glued all these together. So I'll just bob some glue on this one. In fact, I've messed up there really. I've glued them wrong way round, these two base plates. But don't really matter. Don't really matter. You'll see them holes, but I'm going to screw this. I screw these to my baseboard, so it don't really matter that much. So when you put that in, you can see that you can get it. It's not always 100% square. So you want to get a square. I'll just dig my square out. I should have really got all my tools out that I'm going to use, shouldn't I? Before starting the video. But hey ho, you live and learn. Right, so I've got another square. Not the one I wanted, but I've got another one. So when you put it together, just make sure that that your surfaces are square when you glue everything in. So we'll just put a bit of glue on there. Glue that into that. I mean, they are really good, these kits, so you do end up getting them together square anyway, with how they go together. So I'll just put this back piece on here. So how that locates in there, that's how you want to, that's how it really, how you keep it together. So I'll just go do this one from inside a little bit. Alright, so this piece is that top piece that goes in there. Like that. And that goes in together like that. But like I said, we're not having these, we're not having them in that position. So what I do next, what I do next is I built light heads up. I'm just going to turn my tablet on because my laptop on, because I'm waiting to watch Pete on Track Fans TV. So Pete does if you remember Pete's channel, he does on Track Fans TV, Pete. When he does a channel, when you on his member his channel, he does a thing called Wide on Wednesdays, and you can only get it if you're a member of his channel. So I'm just gonna put my tablet on. So all these pieces I'm just pushing out now are footlight heads. Because you need the light heads to make you, so you've got a strong foundation. Because when you cut them ends off of them towers, off that framework, they become very flimsy. And I'm just cutting these pieces out here, so I can discard that bit of stuff off my table. Right, so these are light heads. Right. Right, we're alright yet, we've got 50 minutes to Pete's video. Pete's Wine on Wednesday, right. So that's this framework here on back is your back side, and then that's your internal side. So I need one of these and one of these. And that. And that. Right, so you can see them. You can see this cross here, this markings. That's the same as that. So I want to be putting you want to be gluing that into position, but you need to be really careful that they get lined up perfect, because your slots go behind it. Just going to run a bit of glue across. You don't have to glue all of it, just some of it. So line that up so that's perfect on there. Like that. So that's in the middle. Let that glue go off and get your next one. You can, to save them pips off there, you can just get a sanding block, but just be careful that you don't sand all your MDF away. You don't want to be sanding all ends away. If you've got too strong a sanding block, you'll just knock it up. And if you get that wrong, if you get this lined up wrong, you don't get your bars and stuff in properly. So, like with that now, that bar goes in, that bar clips into there like that. And the other thing I didn't tell you about was make sure these are all punched out, all these parts here, because if they're not out you can't put your bars in, so now I've got to scribe them out. Damn it. So I need to pop them out so they come out like that, look. So I make mistakes all the time. It's just how you rectify your mistake. You'll not learn from him. Nobody never knows everything. You're not human if you don't make mistakes. You've got to make mistakes to learn. Because you learn from your mistakes. And I'm rushing really. I'm rushing as well to just try and get it done. So you want to make sure they're square. You need to make sure that these boards are square that are on here as well. Because once they're in, and you can't take them back out. Because obviously you glue them in so that they're glued. And then your light board, 2 wires go through back. And that goes in there like so. And then you've got these two grates go over the top of there. So we'll just shave them pips off there. Right, so that's your light head. So we'll do this one. Like that. That one goes in there like that. Right, so that's your light head there. We'll just run a bit of tiny little bit of glue up this board here. And be careful not to get the super glue on your fingers as well, so you don't start sticking to everything that you touch. It's quite troublesome to get off super glue once it's on. Right, so that's that one. Drop that into there. Right, these things was actually these light boards that you get with your kit. They've got double-sided tape on the back, but I haven't I ain't fully painted it yet. So because I haven't fully painted it, I'm not going to stick them in properly yet. I'm just chucking it together so you can see how I do it. So you got that. So now these two light boards, they slide into them pegs, slide into moulds like that. So what I need to do is to get them off of there. I cut these bars off If you've got a good sharp Stanley knife, you can a good sharp scalpel knife, you can do it. It'll come off. You just cut it through MDF. So that's that one side off. So that you can glue that now on this on that top piece there, like that. Well, not yet. You can't. Don't do it yet. So I'll just cut this side off. And this front side, the longest side, has got a peg that you locate in the bottom of your board, so you can stick this one straight on. And I've damaged this one getting it out of my spool. So I'll put the damaged bit to the inside. Just test that, make sure it fits in there properly. Right, so that now fits in there nicely. There, look. So we'll just tease this back out, being very gentle with what you're doing. You don't want to break it. I'll just run a bit of super glue on this edge, and then down this edge, and run it all the way up to the top. So I'll put this back in now. Just let that dry. So you can see what I'm saying now about it being square. You've got to make sure it's fully square when you build it up. Really push that base down. Really push this bottom piece down here, make sure it's all the way home. Right, so I've got that bit on. You can think about putting this side bit on, this front side bit here. And that's So we're getting there now as towers look good coming together. But we need to put this brass tube in yet. So we'll not put that side on yet, we'll take that side off for a minute. And while I've been talking to you, my soldering iron's been warming up. So I just want to make sure everything's nice and clean. Make sure all your joints that you're soldering, make sure it's all nice and clean. So we're going to put a bit of flux on this brass rod, put some solder on his iron, and then just put two together. Wait till it's cooled down and can let go. And that's his brass. There's wire soldered onto his brass box section there. So next job is going to be to have to drill a hole in your base, right in the very corner, so you can put your brass box section in just there. So what I'll do is I need to drill a hole. I need to drill a hole in his base. And we'll drill a 3.2mm hole in the base of it. In fact, I want to be lining that up roughly by eye of where I want to. Right, so I've drilled my hole in the base just here. And then need to make that a little bit bigger so we can get that. So we can get that brass box section through. When you buy your brass, I ain't told you what size tube it is. Right, this brass tube I'm using is 3.2mm by 305mm long, and wall thickness is 0.353 of a mil wall thickness. So that's pretty thin walled stuff. Well, I've used a 3.2mm and it's not quite that, it's not quite big enough. So I'll just make it a bit So let's use this 4.2. See how that works out. Still not quite big enough there for it to go through. With it being MDF, you can just make it a bit bigger. Be careful not to damage your model like I've just damaged it. Mistake number 2 or number 3 or whatever it will up to. Come on, you pig. Really, I should have done this a bit. Really, I should have built one and then, because I can't remember, I'm struggling. Right, that says brass box section through, so we can glue that. Into position. But if you use a full length, you've got all that, so we don't want to use that much. You just want to leave, if you're doing a layout like mine, the baseboard's 9mm thick, and in place where my lamp's going to be, it's about 20mm thick, so you want to be leaving a little bit left at bottom. So I want to mark that off with my pencil at the top. So line that up, put this mark there for that. Draw that back out. And I'll just cut this off in my big bench vise. Just got a little pad saw. Right, so I've cut that down. Left a bit of a mess. And we don't want to be pushing a wire through that and damaging his wires. So what I'll do is just clean that up with a file. And then want to get us a flat file and just file that end back there. So now he's got his red cable, but that's that same length as the other one, so you need to cut a little bit off of that. And you'll see why in a second. And then I'm going to get us all the cable, the other red cable, which I've got here. I've got loads of this cable. I buy loads of it. I use component shop. There's a company for all my things, everything electrical, for my boats, cars, trucks, and me layout. So just pull a little bit off, and that cable runs down your box, down the rear box section. And eventually, in fact I don't want to be doing that, do I? I need to put this in there first. And put that brass in there, and run a bit of super glue. You don't have to go full length on this, just a little bit in corners. So I've just done a few spots on that edge. Just move that into position. Let that start going off now. I want to get a bit more cable out of there. Now we start shoving this cable down this brass section. So as I'm feeding that through, it'll come out at the bottom. So what you're doing here by using this brass box section is, there you go, look, so that's my cable all the way through. What you're doing by using this brass box section is, you're using it as a conductor. So that carries your negative power back to wherever it's going. I want some heat shrink tubing. And we want to strip this red wire back. Not too much, a little bit, but not too much. Put this heat shrink tubing over, because this heat shrink tubing is going to insulate your joint. And it looks better than insulation tape, I think. So you twist all your ends together, all your cable bits together, all your strands, and make two hooks. Make two hooks in your cable. And just close your hooks up. So now I'm just going to put a bit of flux on my joint, on the cable. Put a bit of solder on your iron, and then just tin them together. Don't breathe in that smoking. Right, so now they're together, and that's a solid joint. Oops, right, so bit big joint. I've put a bit too much solder on that really, but it's alright. And you just use your tip of your iron, just that back side, just to shrink that tubing. Shrink that tubing down to your cable. Right, so that's your cable done. So you've got your connector on, and you've got too much cable, so all you have to do, just pull that back enough so that they're the same length. And then I suppose if you really wanted to, you could just put a cable tie on. Put a little cable tie on, and then so your leads stay the same length, and just nip the tail off and do the same again. Oops. Right, so that now's your light tower. So I can put, don't forget about your ladder. Don't stick your ladder into the backside of your framework there. I'm going to push these bits out. These are just bits of frame. So just push top end. You can just push top end in, and it comes off on a pivot. Right, so we've got a bench that's all full of stuff. Right. So now your ladder glues on this front piece here. So I just want to run the stretcher glue down either side. Make sure your base is not over. Just line that up with the end. Push that down. So that's glued in position. And now you've got your ladder in and your brass in, you can glue this section on. So we'll just get rid of that bit. So we can run as glue in here. Just run a thin bit of glue up. Mistake number 4, I've not glued my ladder in the right place at the bottom. Glued no right at the top but not at the bottom. Right. So now I can glue these bits in. So you can see that's got an extra bit on the bottom here. This extra piece here, look, along that edge. That goes along the bottom edge here. That just sits in there. That sits in there like that. So I can run a bit of glue down there. These magnetic racing kits are fantastic. They're so easy to put together. And you get brilliant results straight away. You're not messing about and trimming and cutting and farting about with it. It just goes straight together, and it's got to be the easiest kits I've ever built, really. And then this one, this is the top piece where this single head, where these heads are from, where these parts are from. So then that goes that way. And make sure that fits. So I'm just going to trim that bit off. So I've just trimmed that corner off there, so that's more straight, so that when I put me, so now that tower fits, that fits in there, look, because that corner's not off, because I took that corner off. So now I can glue this in. Like I say, not a lot of glue, you don't need loads of it, just the right thin smear of it. Right, so that's me light tower frame with me wiring on. Other bag of mashings there. So I'll just put that to one side, let that go off. Right, so now I've got to split these. I've got to split these light heads, these light towers up. These frameworks up here. So if you're very careful, with your pad saw, just cut down centre. You've got a nice sharp pad saw. It cuts with minimal fuss, minimal effort. So now I've got two. So we'll rest one on top of the other. And then follow that same cut line. Right, so now we've got 4. So we've got 2 and 2. So you get your light head with your wires, don't forget, to the bottom, and you get 1 and put that in that first slot. So what I'll do is we'll just sand that edge off a little bit, just thin that paint off so we can get these all the way in. The tolerances are very tight. So we've got that. We've now got that. Try this side. You can see that they are very tight tolerances. So let's do the same again. Right, and then what we need to do is we need to build this framework up so we can put that goes in there like that, and the smaller one goes that way. Right, so what we need to do now is decide how far apart we're going to do these light heads. So do we do it on top? Do you want it so it's on top at base like that, or do you want it a bit further apart? So I think I'm going to do them quite close, I think, like I've done the others. I mean, you can build them however you want to build them, really. Build them like this, but you can put them anywhere you want to put them. So what we need to do is we need to get some timber now and glue some timber to the back of here. So I'll just come to my shelf, which I've got a load. So I've got some, I think it's lime, this I think it is. So I've got this lime, so I can put this so I'll just cut this off. So now we can just glue that. We can just glue that to them 2 prongs. We can go glue a piece on the back. I have done it before with smaller wood, with same size wood as the as this other stuff, but it don't as this MDF. It's not overly brilliant, to be honest. It's a bit weak, so I ended up making it, beefing it up from the others. So I'll just glue this. Just put this in position. Make sure that's square there. I've just got a few guys coming up on Pete's live stream now for Wednesday. It's wired on Wednesdays. Right, so now I've glued that back piece in, I can now glue this onto a piece of line. All you've got to do is make sure it's square. So we'll just hold this up. We'll just hold this up here until the glue's gone off. Right, so now that's gone off. Blinking neck. So we can just lever this lighted off here now. Right, so that while that's going off, we'll solder his wires up onto his negative here. In fact, I'll make this one up. and stick this one on while it's going, wheels going off.
Hey, good evening, dudes. Excellent. From the top of the tree.
Right, this is the Pete's just starting with his live stream. Right, so we need some black cable. Just strip his wires off. Just type in reply for Pete. So we're just doing hookers wires again. So just hookers wires, and then we need to extend this. Then we just put some flux on your cable, flux your iron, and red cable. So we need to put some heat shrink on that as well. And put your, just shrink your wires with your end of your soldering iron. Do the same on red wire.
Right, so let's have a quick look at the instructions.
In fact, I'll not do the same with red wire. I'll leave that red wire for a second.
And then
We'll just pull this out.
so if you remember, we built the stairs. So we'll stick them on in a minute. But the next thing to do, stuck 2 sets of stairs on, is to do this side paneling.
So I'll just pull this this light head off.
Before I put the banister on. So there's 2 to do, upstairs and downstairs. And then scoot them forward a little bit. There is
Now that's glued on there, solid. You can glue this one on here.
alright. Just saying where's the line, the rail. Fine. Here we go. So there is this bit here on the front.
So glue that one on that side. So just have to just press that down, just try and get that to glue, get it to go off, start going off. And once it's gone off, you can get back to us. I think for my other ones, I think I'll make some epoxy resin up glue, I think, for my next lot. And try and make it a bit better.
And if you know, don't you? You know what that is?
Oh, no. Alright, so we'll just leave that to go off there. And a bit of black cable. This is to do this one for this side. I'm going to check how long this video is. I think it's going to 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I'll just I'll pause it and do my things, and then I'll unpause it. Right, so I've had my light up. I've cut this timber, this bit of line, made a C-section, glued it in place. So now I've got these cables on this side. So now I just want to do a bit more. I want to put a bit more on this, bit more red on this side. You can use whatever size cable you want, but the smaller the better really. LEDs don't draw any power. They don't really have a lot of power, so you don't really need the biggest sort of cable. And it does say in magnetic racing stand in their instructions and that, not to use a power source more than 12 volts. And eventually, if you do more than 12 volts, you eventually knack it up. You'll broke light fitting, you'll broke LEDs to smithereens. So, I mean, 9 volts isn't a lot of power. So it won't be as bright as it could be on 12. So all I'm doing now is what I've done with them other wires. You just strip them back, twist your cable, your strands together, put 2 hooks, make 2 hooks, hook them into each other, twist your wire around, solder it, put flux on, solder it together. Always use liquid flux on your things. So that's that now. That's these 2 wires extended. So I just want to shove it through the framework there at the back. And then just place it. Place your light head back onto your fitting here. So now we've got wires extended out. All we have to do really is stick these two pieces in here. So we've just got to trim these bits. Just got to trim these bits to fit properly. And then I just want to, like I did on that back piece,